Hello and welcome, all the losers, freaks, and social outcasts, to yet another episode of the E-CEL podcast, your source for all things e-punk and Incelcore. I am your host, Ofigs, and I thank you for tuning in. I'd like to give a much-deserved thank you to my team, the guys who make this project possible. E-CEL is not just Ofigs, but a bunch of us. Namely, Not Okay Ghost, Loser Girlfriend, Fools, Strepsiades, State Surveillance, Cringer, and Parzival. They're all great friends, great musicians, so follow them on Soundcloud and like their stuff. Please make sure you're subscribed to us here on YouTube, like this video, and follow us on Twitter at E-CEL Network to stay informed on all the happenings in the scene. New song releases, new albums, new drama, whatever's going on. And of course, check out our channel on BitChute to see any clips of the show we may have to cut out to fit YouTube's guidelines. Okay, we've already got some hilarious clips on there that I love. I rewatch them all the time. I'm pleased to announce to you all that the E-CEL Motel music competition is progressing very well. Everyone has just loved the idea. We've already got a bunch of submissions from some very talented people. I love the songs that have been given to us already, so I'm looking forward to hearing even more. Make sure they're good, because you've got some good competition out here. Trust me. Just a reminder that you have until July 23rd to make your submission, either to me on Discord in a private DM or at the E-CEL email, which is in the description of this video, as well as on our last video on this account. You can go watch that one. It's got all the rules and details that you need to know. Please remember, your submission has to be in the form of an attached MP3 or WAV file. We do not accept Google Drive links. I will tell you that we do not accept your submission. I won't even listen to it because I ain't clicking any links, all right? I'm only taking files. Call it paranoid or whatever. If you want to earn $500, follow these rules, all right? You have to send just a file, attached file. Obviously, you also have to include your lyrics, the name of your song, and your artist name, all right? So make sure you have all of those in your submission. I want to apologize to you guys for not releasing a video last Friday. I had announced in the pinned comment of our last video that I was going on a vacation, and so we'd have to delay the release of this video by about a week. Since we don't record these videos live, we record them about a week beforehand. For instance, this video is being recorded on Sunday, July 14th. I only really take one vacation a year, so hopefully the rest of the videos will all be on time and on schedule, which, if you're not aware of our schedule, we try to shoot for releasing a new interview every 2 weeks on a Friday at about 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when we usually aim to make our releases. If you're curious, I had a busy week in Orlando, Florida with some of my friends. We went and saw and rode the rides at Disney World and Universal Studios for a week. Then the day after I came back, I live in the Pacific Northwest, if you're not aware. I got back in on the other side of the country at like midnight, slept for 6 hours, and then immediately had to go to a wedding the next day. And while I was at that wedding that night, Donald Trump got shot, which is insane, because I love the guy. So that obviously was crazy to me. I was following all the news on that until way late last night. And now, the day after that, I'm doing an interview. So please bear with me. I'm a ragged man, but I keep trucking along out of love for you guys and love for the scene. So no need to thank me. No need to thank me. I do it all for free and with pleasure. All right. I'm going to introduce our co-host for today. He was the co-host for our last interview. Great musician, great guy. I'm glad to have him back. It's Strepsiades. So please, everybody, welcome Strepsiades. Strep, welcome to the show.
Hey, you said my name right.
Yes. I've been trying to get it down. So hopefully I've got it ingrained now.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, thank you again for being willing to do this. You're a bit of a last-minute co-host. I like to try and keep the co-hosts new every single time, but unfortunately, the last guy dipped out at the last minute, which is totally understandable. I'm just
Hey,
glad
it
that
just
you were
looks
able to
like I'm
fill
the
in.
favorite now. I'm the only recurring member.
That's true. That's true. The only one to make a appearance twice.
Yeah, got to get Loser back on here so it doesn't look like you're
Yeah.
playing favorites.
Oh, he'll definitely make a reappearance at some point, I'm sure. But we got some actually big news to talk about this week. Right off the bat, we have the release of Misatocore Volume 2, which, if anybody isn't aware, is the sequel to Misatocore Volume 1, obviously, which is a comp album set up by Origami. And he's included a bunch of his friends, and they've come back and made a sequel. The first one was pretty well received. I wouldn't say it was like huge, but it was a good comp. I liked it.
Yeah, and I would say I was pretty excited for this one to come out as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know a lot of the guys who participated in it, right?
Yeah, and like in general, like it's like interesting stuff. It's like different than most other comps that are coming out, so it's like, oh, this is going to be interesting.
It's definitely different, especially since Origami doesn't really, to my knowledge, he doesn't like to associate with Incelcore specifically. He sees himself as something different, right?
He kind of, from my understanding, and I don't really talk to Origami myself, it's just from my understanding, he likes to associate with people who are kind of on the sort of fringes of Incelcore, E-Punk type stuff. Not quite Incelcore, but yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely what this album panders, or not panders to, but it incorporates those types of people.
Yeah.
But the comp release, that was just going to be the main piece of news, but instead it's had its own drama attached to it recently, where it had this guy named Npobu, who's been on the scene for a little while. He was on the comp, but just the other day, he was kicked off of it due to allegations of him talking to and spreading nudes of a minor, a girl, obviously. She was somewhere, it's hard to nail down the facts in this matter, but she was somewhere between the ages of 14 to 16 is what I've been seeing.
Ooh.
And they're not really, at this point, they're not really allegations because he's practically admitted to it on Reddit. I'm going to go ahead and read through this announcement that Origami made on his Instagram about his removal. So this is what he says. This is a direct quote. He says, "Guys, I have some bad news. It turns out Npobu was messaging underage girls inappropriately and blackmailing them with their nudes or something like that. Bottom line is I was shown screenshots of chats that confirmed to me that he is guilty of at least 90% of these things. I don't want a disgusting creep like that on Misatocore, and I hope you all understand why he's been removed. Let me be very clear that I gave him every chance to defend himself, but he has no shame in what he did, and the screenshots back up the claims against him, so I have no choice but to blacklist him from all current and future Misatocore projects. If anyone has a problem with this, you can take it up with me or F off. Child predators are not welcome here." Wow, very controversial stance, not allowing child predators.
Yeah. You know what, guys? I hate child predators.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to come out and say it. I know this is going to get me a lot of flack. No pedophiles allowed on E-CEL. It's like,
yeah. What's it called?
But
normally I wouldn't go straight to like allegations and whatnot with just like text and whatnot. But I know yesterday, Npobu himself, it came out of the horse's mouth. He made a comment. I'm not sure if you have that on hand.
Yes.
But he was basically admitting to all of this, doubling down.
Yes, and I will go ahead and give this Reddit. He made this comment on Reddit under a secondary account that he uses. I will just go ahead and give a quick overview of what it says, but he starts it off with this just high IQ line. He says, "If anything, I'm an ephebophile, not a pedophile." And then he says, "There's nothing wrong with being attracted to 16-year-olds. Basically that there's, no real difference between a 16-year-old and a 18-year-old, which is the age of consent in most of the Western world. Basically,
Basically, the worst optic move he could have made.
Yeah, he is not going about this the right way. The ephebophile thing is just such a retarded line of defense. I mean, you can't call yourself that. It never sounds good, But
Yeah, for sure.
Origami's right. This guy really he doesn't see anything wrong with what he did. I think he did say, let me read this really quick. Okay, so he did say this. So let's give him this piece. He did say, the only thing I regret was trying to leak her nudes. Even when I did that, I deleted them about 20 minutes later because I felt it was wrong. I was blinded and I thought it's unfair that she picked another guy, so I wanted to hurt them. And then he says, but I will never, ever apologize for trying to e-date a 16-year-old, you idiots.
Bro.
Which is like, well, so he did apologize for that. The fact that he posted them in the first place is pretty big deal because that is, I mean, like it or not, that is revenge porn.
That is like criminal.
Yeah. I don't know necessarily the legality of all of it. Maybe it's not necessarily because I know 16 is like the age of consent in some places. I don't know how it works. It's wrong though. It's bad. It's scummy.
Yeah, I've also heard that like even if it isn't a minor, it's also like criminal and whatnot. So there is that.
Right. Yeah. So it's a good thing that he realized it was wrong, but the fact he did it at all is pretty bad. I can kind of relate into that. I hate women too, but I don't think I'd ever do something like that,
Yeah, and I don't want to moral too hard. It's just like, damn, dude, like what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like coming down on guys in the scene, but I mean, this is a pretty bad situation, and he did not handle it gracefully at all.
Yeah.
So it's no surprise he's been kicked off the comp. And this leads me, I'm reading my notes, this leads me into the next thing, which is my criticisms of the comp, because in my opinion, Npobu had the best song on the album. So it sucks that he was kicked off of it. Relationship with a Whore goes so hard. I love that song. But unfortunately is no longer on there. Yeah, the comp just, Misatocore Volume 2, it just kind of, it's got some great aspects. It just kind of falls flat to me.
Yeah.
I do not think that Origami organized it in a good way. I mean, it starts off with like 3 instrumentals, which is
I will agree with that. Like, track order was a little off.
Yeah, it kills any momentum to the album, It makes me not want to listen to them.
There were some really good songs on there, though. I will say that.
Totally.
Like, I really enjoyed Trash Talking in Bathrooms. Like, that slapped pretty hard.
Yep.
What's it called? Blitz had some interesting stuff on there, but then again, like, a lot of it, like, suffers from track order, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Not the proper attire, who we had on here. He promoted this comp. His 2 songs are easily like top 5 on the album. Top 5 songs on the album. They're really good.
Mm-hmm.
Npobu. Yeah, like I liked his songs. I liked his songs.
Yeah. No, I can't fault you for that. You didn't know.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm gonna like his songs anyways. I don't care what he did.
Yeah. And even then, like, it slaps. Yeah.
Exactly. I do think Treebone's songs were way out of place because he does like metal, or his songs were like metal.
Oh,
and that the album was aiming for like Origami's style.
It was like ambient, and then it just goes into metal.
Yeah, and that just has to do more with the track or the track order issue,
Yeah.
I think that a great album could be made with just Origami, Waster, Sorry Stereo, and Kanashi, because they sound very similar enough to each other. They could make a killer album.
I totally agree.
Yeah, I think just those 5 would do a great job just doing something by themselves, or with just themselves,
Yeah.
I think it would fit way better with the vibes. But, overall, I'd say it was a decent album. I liked it. I'll probably listen to it again a few more times.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely something different than what you normally get in the scene anyways.
Yeah, totally. Speaking of comp albums, if you are not aware, Farmyard, the much anticipated comp album featuring Heartbreaker, Fried by Fluoride, Crust Socks, Neat, and Edgemaster 42, it's been officially announced that it will not be coming out. It is scrapped forever. Fried by Fluoride indicated on a live stream that apparently there was some sort of big falling out between all 4 or 5 of those guys. And now they don't like each other is what I got from it. And so they've started individually releasing the songs that they made for the comp on their own, accounts. So it's well and truly dead. It's not coming out. Fried has even said that the second song he made for it, he's already released Bet the Farm on it, which was supposed to be on it. He's already said that his second song that he made for the album, I think he's just decided to trash it, so it'll never be released. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this, Strep? Were you extremely disappointed to hear this, or you didn't expect anything less, or what?
Yeah, to be honest, I was kind of expecting this. I mean, like, yeah, it's just interesting being able to talk about this now. Bearing witness to some of the behind the scenes stuff, like as it's developing and whatnot. Not to say that, like, I knew a lot, but I knew something was up.
Right. Yeah. I had even when we were doing the interview with them, I had a bad feeling. It was based on nothing, just gut instinct, but I had a bad feeling something was going to happen, it kind
of felt like the Steakfry memorial or something where like Fried says he's going to like show up to like something and then it just doesn't happen.
Right. And I'm not sure what happened with this. It sucks. It sucks to see these guys, I hope they don't hate each other because
like we want them all to succeed and everything. Like
exactly.
At the end of the day, like we want everyone here to succeed.
Right. And I had high hopes for this comp. I really thought it was going to do something. They did a good job of getting hype. Yeah. But, so to see it scrapped is really too bad. So hopefully they'll do something in the future, or they'll do beyond to bigger projects. Who knows?
Yeah. We'll get Farmyard 2.
Yeah, Farmyard 2 without even Farmyard 1.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, anyways, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get the man of the hour in here, Lil Watermark. He's been on the scene for several years at this point and has kept a consistent style throughout. If you've attended any real-life Incelcore or E-Punk shows, you've probably seen him there. He's participated in 2 of the big Psych Ward albums, and he just recently released a great collab song with Edgemaster 42 called Hate My Guts. Please, everybody, welcome to the show, Lil Watermark. Welcome.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, thanks, man, for being here. Really appreciate you coming on. It's good to have you, and hopefully we'll get to learn a little more about you because you don't have that much of an online presence that I've been able to see. You have like an Instagram that you sort of use, and then you have a Twitter account that's actually been mostly inactive until recently.
Yeah, my Twitter, I think probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I just like thought to myself, like I was hanging out with my IRLs and I was like, I really need to start using Twitter more because, like, I don't know. I see like people like tweet funny shit, and I'm like, man, I wish I was tweeting funny shit too. So, because like I look at Twitter a lot, and it'll just like make me like really pissed off to the point where I'll just like close Twitter. And I think like I feel like I don't know, like whenever I look at Twitter, I like think of a bunch of funny shit, and then I get pissed off and close it. And I just think to myself. So I thought I might as well like direct that negative energy into like a couple goofy tweets.
Definitely, yeah. Well, cool. Nice. Good to have you back in the social presence then, and it's well timed too because it seems like I don't know. Maybe this is just me, but it seems like there are more guys in the scene that are starting to be more, use socials a little bit more, I don't know if you've had the same interpretation of events or what.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's because like, I mean, it's kind of old news now that Fried like totally blew up and all that shit. Mm-hmm. So I think everyone's kind of realizing, like, I feel like it's kind of just like a big, like whiplash where it's like, everyone's like, oh shit, there's like actually maybe there's like fame and money in this whole like incel shit. and everyone's trying to get their own piece of the pie.
Sure. No, definitely. And sort of speaking about the scene, before Fried blew up, there was the whole thing with, negative XP blowing up originally, and that sort of started, Incelcore on its way. And you started about a year after that, if I'm correct, right? You uploaded your first song to SoundCloud.
I believe so, yeah. I believe so. I think it was 2021, yeah. That was during the whole psych ward stuff. Funny story about that. I lurked in the scene Discord, ICG for the old heads for like a long time, probably about 6 months. All I would do is read messages, and I was like too scared to like say anything because I was a huge Incelcore fan. Like I listened to everything at that point. I like knew everything. I knew like most of like the scene drama and everything. I was like a huge super fan, and I was like, I think like I like temporarily got out of it because it was like I think it was December or November of 2020. There was this whole thing where some dude joined ICG and like pretended to be Bryn and asked Cowboy for mod and like caught mod and then banned like literally everyone.
Bro, no.
Yeah.
That's why you don't let voids on your server.
Well, it wasn't even her. It was like someone. It was someone fake. It was not her, but it was. I don't know. After that, I was like, oh shit, I guess I'm banned. So I didn't do anything.
Wow.
And I rejoined right as the psych ward stuff was like coming up, and I made Boyfriend as like a joke song, and then, Cumjar, the guy who did the psych ward stuff, like, DM'd me and he was like, "Hey, this Boyfriend song, I like unironically really like it. I like love this song. I think this is like musical genius. Do you want to be in this comp album?" And I was like, what the fuck is this guy's deal? This is like stupid.
Yeah.
But that's how it all started.
Wow. Well, before we get too much into the psych ward stuff, I want to backtrace a little bit. You said you're a huge super fan of Incelcore at the time, but at that time, the scene had basically just begun. How did you discover it, and what connected with you so much?
Originally it was the Scott Pilgrim versus the World music video.
Naturally,
the one.
Yes.
Yeah. I like saw it. I saw it, and I was like, this fucking this song sucks. I like hated it, and I listened to it. Like I don't know. I like kept coming back to it. I don't remember why, but like it started to grow on me, and I was like, this song is good, but like I totally don't agree with any of the words or anything because I was like 14.
Yeah.
And all that stuff, and I like kept listening to it, and I was like, whoa, this is like actually good, and And I like went through like a whole deep dive of Shooter's discography, and I listened to like basically everything. And I got into the whole SoundCloud scene, and from there I found MSG, and then it was like just a big snowball from there.
And how did you get involved with ICG? That's Incelcore General, right? That was the first big Discord server related to the scene.
There was Spurgbin before that. Spurgbin was like, I think that was like just like the MSG people and the Manson family murder tapes people. And then from there, after that, it was like Fried and Neat and Cowboy made the ICG server. And I don't remember how I found that. I think it was either posted on Cowboy's Twitter or it was in someone's SoundCloud bio, but I joined from there.
Gotcha. All right. And is that where you met this? I know who Cumjar is, but a lot of people won't because he was kind of a nobody who started the Psych Ward albums, right?
Mm.
So how did you come into contact with this guy? Did he just DM you about your song on SoundCloud, or did he know you from ICG?
Yeah, actually, the first night I joined ICG, I was in a VC with. It was Cumjar, Fuster, who is Roadside Crosses, I think is now his name. He's like very, very small guy. He was on my FML compilation like a year ago. But him, Cumjar, and Heartbreaker actually. And we talked with Cumjar for probably about like, I don't know, like 4 or 6 hours or whatever. It was right after Psych Ward came out, so everyone was like reeling from that whole like from the impact of that and everything.
Sure.
And we got to talking, and then months come by, and I'm like, oh, should I get into the scene? Should I start making music? And they're like, oh yeah, sure, dude, go for it. So I released Boyfriend, and it was, I mean, it like totally, it was just like a joke song, and I think I was like a joke artist at the start. Like I kind of just made like, I don't think I made like parody stuff, but I think I feel like I didn't want to be taken seriously like whatsoever.
I mean, your first 2 uploads to SoundCloud are not even songs. They're like
oh yeah,
random MP3s. It's just funny that they're still up. Usually people remove that stuff.
Is that where your name kind of stems from as well?
This is I don't know, this is like an old really old reference. The whole Lil Watermark thing comes from basically when I was in 8th grade. I had like most teenagers, I had like a gay like SoundCloud rapper phase.
You were a SoundCloud rapper? You like SoundCloud rappers?
I mean, it was like ironic, like as ironic as you can be in middle school. I made like a diss track on this kid.
No way.
Yeah, in my like 8th grade like class. And it's the funny thing is that my SoundCloud account now is like the exact SoundCloud account. Like all of the old like diss tracks and everything are still on it. They're still on it. They're just all private.
Wow. No way.
Yeah. So it's like a direct continuation of that. 5 years ago. It was about 5 years ago.
Do you remember at all how you came up with the name like Lil Watermark?
Yeah, it was because the first like free YouTube beat that I used had a watermark in it.
Wow.
It's not like a deep name. It's just kind of like I already had this SoundCloud account, and it was kind of like a joke in ICG, like to post like my old like 8th grade like SoundCloud rap stuff and be like, yeah, Lil Watermark is like real Incelcore. And I was like, well, I already have like name recognition. I might as well just roll with it. Because I think it's like really funny to make like, I think it's like extremely funny to make like the music that I do while having like some like joke SoundCloud rapper name. I think that's really funny.
Honestly, that really does fit with like sort of like crust socks and like all those different types of names.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Totally.
Well, yeah. Like I like a couple of my IRLs were like talking to me about that. They're like, don't you think you should like change your name? And I'm like, do you really expect like someone with the name of like Fried by Fluoride to be like taken seriously or like crust socks?
Yeah.
Like really think about that. Like it's just they stop having meanings when the definition of them is the artist.
Sure. Totally.
In my opinion.
No, that's a great way to put it. Honestly, it's a very unique aspect of the culture of the scene, you know?
Mm.
But yeah, it's either that or your name is like impossible to pronounce.
Yeah, Jezebel, yeah.
Yeah, Yower Hornet, Strepsiades.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see why people have such a hard time with Jezebel Gaburgabully, you know? Like, what is... I don't know.
Too many
I feel like
letters.
It's just a lot of yeah, it's a lot of letters and a lot of syllables and everything.
True, yeah. So you've never considered like changing it, because you've got a lot of flack for it, because it's like, you know, the Lil bit is like a rap.
No, it is. I mean, I don't know. The more I like think about changing it, the more I think like I shouldn't change it, because I considered just changing it to Watermark, because I feel like that is definitely like a more palatable name, I guess, especially to like the people who are in the scene,
right?
You know? But I feel like the whole name recognition thing, I feel like when people read it, they're like, oh, what the fuck? Is this guy like a rapper or something?
You know, that was my original like sort of reaction to seeing your name, and then I started listening to it, and I'm like, actually, you make like pretty good stuff. Like,
yeah, thank you. But I don't know. I think it's like, I think it kind of helps with it, because it's like something stupid, and it sticks in people's heads a lot more, you know?
Sure.
It's if I just had like a normal name, then like people would just like read it and be like, oh, it's like a normal name, and it wouldn't like set anything apart. And I feel like that also kind of like works with Incelcore, you know? Like I feel like it having an unpalatable name and being like kind of this like extremely abrasive, like having this extremely abrasive title is kind of like half of what it is,
right?
You know?
I have a good friend in the scene named Loser Girlfriend. I don't know if you've heard him, but
I have, yeah, yeah.
yeah, he struggles with people thinking he's like trans because he has girlfriend in his name. So he's debated
Mm.
often with himself about changing his name, but I think he ultimately feels the same as you. The name recognition, kind of weird name, just helps.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyways, coming back then to what we were talking about earlier with Cum Jar and Psych Ward. So you were only on the second and third ones. You obviously missed the first one, and you were saying that it's right after the first one that you got the idea to join the second one or try to get on the second one.
Yeah, yeah. I remember. Well, I thought I wasn't going to be on the second one because I was like, my music like blows.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone who listens to my earlier shit like knows it like sucks because I wasn't trying to be anything. I was just like making shitty music. But Gumjar DMs me. I don't know if I still have the DM. I might. I'll see if I can find it and read it out loud. Maybe not. I don't know if he changed his name or something, but it's an old archaic archaeological gem.
Sure.
He basically tells me, he's like, "Hey Watermark, I really liked Boyfriend. I think it's like a really good song. I can't put it down. I can't stop listening to it." And I was like, that's really embarrassing. I think that was like my exact response. Like I was like, that's really embarrassing, dude. You're
you should be ashamed.
yeah. So I was like, this is like a retarded like joke song that I wrote for like no reason, and you're like, this is so good, dude. This is amazing. But he just threw it on, and I was like, you can just throw it on there. And it wasn't until I think the third Psych Ward when I was like, whoa, I can actually be like an artist.
And was that the original? Because you have two versions of it. Was that the original version that you put on the second Psych Ward album?
Yes. The second version was for the EP because I was like I should probably remaster this song because I wrote it with because I made it originally when I had like no clue how to make music at all. So
sure. But you did play the guitar in it, didn't you? So you know guitar, or you knew guitar at the time?
Actually, kind of. I was like had recently gotten an electric guitar, I think in March of 2021, and all I like my digital footprint like kind of starts in May of 2021. So it was I basically only knew like cowboy chords. Like I couldn't even play a bar chord when I started doing music. So
wow.
Yeah, my instrumental and also like musical journey kind of started at the same point.
Well, that's pretty impressive. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who would be inspired by that start because now you make some really good stuff. I mean, you're very good at what you do. So to start that way, that's pretty impressive. Maybe you had a little bit of a prodigy-ness in you, right, at the start?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I feel like it was more so just like I think I just wanted to be in it to be in it because I was like it was like such a like I'd never been in like a community like before I was in like the scene, so to speak. Like I was kind of just like off the radar. I kind of just floated around like my same like high school friend group of like 4 people.
Sure.
And like the music was just like an interest. And I kind of just wanted to be in it to be like a part of something.
Mm-hmm.
And I mostly just made music to like find a place in the community to be able to be in the community because honestly I kind of just enjoyed like talking to people like in the scene and like making friends and doing all that stuff, and the music was just kind of like an added thing. And I think I don't think I ever viewed myself as a prodigy. I don't even think I like really considered like seriously being able to make music until like probably about like a year after I started.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely believe you with the whole you are more a fan of the community aspect, because you seem to be friends with a lot of people in the scene. You've collabed with a bunch of big names like Maniac, Deep Blue. Just what was it last week was Edgemaster 42, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did your big break basically happen with Psych Ward 3 then, or when did you start meeting all these people?
I mean, I mostly there's there's my actions in the real life scene, which started a bit ago, and then there's my actions in the online scene, which were like really started after Psych Ward. I mean, when I joined Incelcore, like I had all these like pre-notions about a bunch of people, and I was like there were a lot of artists that I was like, oh, I really gotta meet this person, or I gotta talk to this person. So I basically like I was just kind of bouncing around, like trying to have a conversation with like literally everyone. And just because like, I don't know, like it was like they were accessible people, and they were people that I could like that I could like just like join a VC and talk to them, or like shoot them a DM and like just talk to them. And I mean, it really did like start off as me just like being a fan, like wanting to talk to everyone. Yeah. But I guess that kind of does like continue to this day, and that's kind of how I made like all those connections. Like I kind of like had all these like big quote like breaks with artists because I like kind of already knew them. Like I remember like I was friends with Maniac before he was big. I remember how I joined ICG. It was Deep Blue. That's who I was thinking of. He DM'd me on SoundCloud, it was when he was still Saxon Man, and sent me an invite to ICG.
Oh, yeah.
Because he saw like all my old like SoundCloud rap stuff. And he was like,
whoa.
Here it is. I have the DM. I can send it if you want to throw it up on screen.
Sure, I'll throw it up on screen if you want.
He said join ICG Watermark. That was it. That was all. That's all it was.
Wow, so that's what started it all. That's crazy.
That's what it was. And I just wanted to talk to all these people because I was just like fans of them and everything. And I guess and that kind of does like continue to this day. Like I'm still like in like I'm like in with like all the different groups, and I'm friends with all these different artists.
Right.
Just because I kind of reach out to people, like talk to them. Just to be friends and to talk to them.
Sure. And it's funny that is so, I relate to that so much because I started off as like a giant fan of the scene. And I'd been like, I probably was even more intimidated to talk to people than you, because I mean, you started talking with them kind of near the start anyways, 2021, 2022, when the scene wasn't huge or anything. And then I sort of started talking with guys just this year, when the scene's pretty well established. And I'm slowly realizing that even though these guys are like blowing up, like Crust Socks is huge and Fried is huge, they're still impressively accessible. You can still talk to them pretty easily,
Yeah.
Which is just another great part of the scene that I enjoy. But you'd mentioned earlier about how your real life participation helped with getting to know people. You're sort of known for, I think, going to a lot of real life events, right? For instance, I know for a fact that you were at Doomerfest, and were you also at Virgin Fest?
I was actually not at either of those.
What?
Yeah, really. I didn't go to Doomerfest. I didn't go to Virgin Fest.
Wow. Okay, I've been given some bad info then.
Oh, what was it? I remembered.
I wanted to go to Doomerfest, but I didn't because I was, I think I was like 17 and I didn't have a car. The shows that I have been to, I'll list them. I'll name them. It was originally the Steakfry show with Steakfry and Hollowed downstate. And that was a real deal. That was like huge for me. Then it was the Steakfry Memorial show. Then there were like a few other ones. There was another one in New York on like this like WizTow tour kind of thing that happened like I think it was earlier this year. And then there was another show in Ohio that I went to and played. That's about it.
That's crazy because people are like, oh yeah, Watermark goes to all the live stuff, but you haven't been to the two biggest ones.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I haven't been to Doomerfest. I didn't go to Virgin Fest. I didn't go to Massacre. I live too far away from all the southern shows. I live in the Northeast. I can't make it down there. It's like too much.
Yeah.
It's too much of a drive or too much to fly.
So strange to me. The entire scene lives on the East Coast. I'll probably never go to a live show since I'm on the West. I'm in the Pacific Northwest.
There's only like 4 of us over here.
Yeah. Have to put together our own thing or something.
Yeah.
But
hey, Hallowed came over here.
yeah,
He did. Yeah, I remember that. He was supposed to play a show. I think it was in February when he was doing that.
Yeah.
February, January. He was supposed to be around for this New York show with me and Greens on Toast and Yallerhorn, and he was in Cali at the time.
Yeah, that was a cool video that he put up, though. Recognized a lot of places.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I mean, I've never been west of the Mississippi, so I have no clue.
So then what is your opinion on the live shows that you've been to? Do you think that they're overall a good thing for the scene, or do you think they're just like an accessory, or do you think it's like the future? We recently, I don't know if you watched Not the Proper Attires interview here. His was our last interview that we did, and he seemed to lean towards that it's kind of like the future is to more lean towards doing live shows. Do you agree with that, or what is your opinion?
I mean, I'm not sure. I think I like the live shows as much as anyone else does, but I also think there should be fewer of them.
Fewer?
I think they should be more. Yeah, I think they should be more like qualitative as opposed to quantitative. I feel like the scene should have like 2 or 3 like big shows a year, because I think it's like, I don't know, at least in my experience of like setting them up and going to them and like playing at them even. I think it's really easy to be like, oh, we're gonna do a show here and do a show here and do this. When you're like acting like you're like a big band or something like that. But it's like, the truth is like the scene isn't really all that huge, and like the fan base, like there's a lot of people who like the music, but it's not as big as a lot of people think. I feel like it's really easy to have like delusions of grandeur and be like, you know, everyone's gonna come to the show and we're gonna have this and we're gonna do this. And I mean, I think the Steakfry Memorial show that I put on last November had I think it was about like at most like a rough estimate, it was probably between maybe like 40 and 50 people at its peak, which is a lot. It's totally a lot for an Incelcore show, but it was it's not like, you know, like we're not like huge personalities. And maybe this has changed with Fried blowing up or anything, but I feel like it should be like a 1 or 2 big shows a year. I feel like too much attention from the wrong people to all the shows. That's why Doomerfest, Virgin Fest, all
the Antifa
and Massacre all got like, they all got like, and especially, I mean, well, the Montreal show with Jezebel and Bryn wasn't.
Well, what happened there?
I didn't know Bryn was like, I think Bryn's like.
Wasn't it just like Canada politics or something?
I think it was like Bryn is like dating that dude. What's his name?
Jimbo Zoomer.
Yeah. Or she was like tweeting out like on Twitter, like, my boyfriend's a Nazi or some shit, like some crazy shit, and got like she was like poking the bear and got like Antifa like to show up to the show and like ruin everything.
What was that Montreal show? I've heard about it a little bit. All I know is that Bryn and Jezebel were connected to it. Was it like a female Incelcore show or something?
It was Bryn, Jezebel, and Kiki, because Kiki lives in Canada.
Gotcha.
So he was like the hand in setting it up, but it was just like, I don't know, it was just like a train wreck. I feel like I think it was just a fucking train wreck, like a complete train wreck. And I think that's like, I feel like that show is mainly the reason like Jez doesn't want to do like the Incelcore stuff anymore either.
Oh wow. So that was the whole start of that.
I mean, I feel like that was like the culmination of it. I think that was like, I don't think that was the start of it. I think it was the end of it.
You don't think it's because of her fan base at all?
No. I think it's mostly because of like the Antifa attention and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
And it's kind of hard to get big when you have like such a stigma to like every live event you put on. Like Virgin Fest, I mean, like,
for sure.
Like, I agree, it was like a magical thing if you're like in the scene, but like if you want to like be like an artist and like actually get out there and like do stuff and you want to like interact with normal people, it's kind of like the worst thing to have on your track record, which is why like I think if you're an artist in the scene, you have to like commit to the scene.
Yeah. I could totally agree with that. I think that's a large reason why I think with Virgin Fest Shooter, he never announced, or he said that he was pulling out and he wasn't going, but then he went anyways. I think that had a lot of reason to do with that. He didn't want to be associated with it, but he also still wanted to have his cake and eat it too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He's, I don't know. I feel like Shooter. I don't know. He like created this whole thing, and he's like the whole start of it. And every single artist in the scene is like imitating Shooter in some way. Like the whole every aesthetic and vibe and like was set. Like he's like the golden standard for Incelcore music. Like old Shooter, early Negative XP is like the golden standard for it. And he like had all these people who basically would like throw so much money at anything that he would do, and he just like squandered it, and he like threw it all away, and he was like, I don't like this, and I'm like against this, man, and this is like lame and shit, dude.
He was even getting like mainstream attention.
Yeah, all the stuff against like True Cult and everything like that. Like he just came off as like an old man yelling at a cloud, like kind of like it was like very like it was very like out of touch. It was really weird. Because like I as someone who's like hung out with all those guys, and like I've slept in the same rooms as like a lot of like the WizTow and all those guys, and everyone who's like been lambasted by a Shooter, I've like met them, and like none of them are like almost everyone is like a normal dude. Like it's just I don't know. I feel like Incelcore like at least artists are for the most part like very normal people.
Sure. Well, that's interesting to hear. I thought a lot of people agreed that there's a lot of weird people in this scene.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of weird fans in this scene. I'll agree with that. But I think a lot of the artists are like very like normal, adjusted.
I think most of them are, but there's definitely outliers.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I do. Yeah, I believe me. Okay, I've been in contact with these people, but I can tell you, like, I think like when the weirdest thing is like for the most part is that people are like artists in this like weirdo scene, and due to that, they tend to wear like a lot of the weirdest shit about them like on their sleeve. So it's like, and most of the time it's just like it's not really that bad. Like Zany just like humps the ground, and I think like I don't know, like it's just not like Zaril just like looks weird. I don't know. I think it's just a bunch of people who just have like who are just into a like one weird thing, and for the most part they're just like pretty normal.
Sure. And I think I can mostly agree with what you're saying too. I think I've gotten similar, without meeting any of these guys in person, I think I've got similar vibes from it.
Mm-hmm.
But so you're obviously very sympathetic and have a lot of respect for the scene, which is Incelcore, is mostly what we've been talking about. What is your opinion then on e-punk and all that?
I think it's probably like the worst thing ever.
Really?
Like calling Incelcore e-punk is like retarded. Like forgive my language, but
Figs, you don't know the song "Fuck e-punk"?
I do know.
Yeah, true.
Just
true.
Want to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Like Incelcore, I think like as a name, like Incelcore as a genre, like only has the name. Really, in my opinion, it's not really interesting music. It's not really doing anything new, with the exception of it all being like DIY stuff.
Sure.
Like I feel like everything, like most of everything in the scene has been done before. Like there's not really new music being created here. It's just aesthetic. Like all it really has is like an aesthetic and a message and a general lyrical theme. It's not really interesting music. It's just relatable music. And I think having the name Incelcore is kind of like the only thing it has, because like what? E-punk, like I don't know, like that's just really gay. Like telling, like I don't know, like it like defeats the purpose of it. It like totally defeats the purpose of everything. And don't even get me started on bedroom punk. That sounds even worse, dude. like telling, like imagine, I don't know, like imagine like having like a serious counterculture movement and like calling it e-punk.
Yeah.
Like that's like so lame. It's like the most provocative thing about the genre, and you want to neuter it. Like that's so dumb. It should be Incelcore.
Yeah, it's so refreshing to hear you say this, because so many people seem to like straddle the line. They're like, I mean, I kind of like it, kind of don't think we need to move away from it or something like that. You know, they'll hum and haw. It's nice to finally have a guy on here on the show who agrees that it's like, if punk is, this is my opinion, But if punk is necessarily countercultural, what could possibly be more countercultural than incel and incel culture? Because
Yeah, exactly.
both sides of
Yeah.
the political aisle hate incels. Most people hate incels. Half the population hates incels because half the population are women.
Yeah, right,
So,
right, exactly.
It's like the most countercultural thing you can be. So yeah, I've always agreed. Like even if you don't necessarily like incel culture, it's the most countercultural thing. So of course it fits punk perfectly.
And yeah, going back to the topic of Shooter, I feel like him, like he was like the main like champion of like the whole e-punk thing. Like he was like, I don't make Incelcore, I make e-punk.
Yeah.
Incelcore is like an exonym thrown on us by our evil fans. It's like, no, like you're a dumbass, dude. Like e-punk is like, I see e-punk as like Shooter like making his fucking bag and then pulling the ladder up. Like saying like none of you will ever make it making the same shit that I did. And I'm happy that it hasn't really stuck. And especially with like r/epunk and all that shit, like all the like dumbasses on Reddit who like will like speculate about that or argue about that. It's like, I don't know, like I just think it's like you don't, the goal of punk is not to be palatable. Like it's counterculture music, and I think Incelcore is like the closest thing to like punk in its definition that we have today. Like I don't think anything else is doing the same shit. The closest thing that I have seen is like the modern fifth wave emo scene, and that even that is like still it's like safe edgy.
Yeah,
right.
It's just they pour blood on themselves, and that's about it, right?
Yeah. It'll be like lame. I mean, there has been some cool shit that I've seen in my experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Going to shows and seeing artists and all that stuff, but still, it's like, I don't know. It's not like no one's doing it like Incelcore is. It's not like there's something so. I feel like there's something so like, what's the word?
Raw.
I guess like, yeah, raw and also like disgusting.
Yeah.
It's like watching two creatures in nature like brutally maul and eat each other. Like it's like totally natural and like totally supposed to happen, but it's also like, it makes your gut like hurt like looking at it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's like looking at Incelcore, like going to the shows and meeting the people. I mean, like I met a dude who I think it was at the Steakfry Memorial Show. He was like a U.S. Marine or something. And he comes up to me and he lifts up his pant leg, and there's a snail man tattoo in his calf. And I don't think I've ever looked at someone with like more disgust and like I was never more. I was like, dude, you gotta be kidding me. Your drill sergeant probably hates you, bro. But like, I don't know, like stuff like that. Like I feel like it's like what kids should be doing. I feel like there's nothing more counterculture than being like a retarded teenager. And I feel like Incelcore is like perfectly that. It's counterculture, it's counterintuitive, and it's like completely contradictory. And I think that perfectly encapsulates what like music, like independent music especially, should be.
Well, very well put. Nothing but a round of applause to you, man. That's it's good to hear finally somebody agree with that, because
Get that shit in a magazine.
Yeah. Maybe this is just me, but I think most of the fan base, or at least a majority of the fan base, agrees with people like you and me on our takes on these things. But a lot of the artists seem to disagree, right? It's sort of like the leaders of the scene just seem to have a different opinion on these things than the actual fans, and so there's like a disconnect. I don't know if you agree with that take necessarily, but
I guess it depends on the artist that you're talking to. I mean,
well, I'm talking mostly like generally, like in general.
Yeah, I guess I do agree with that. Most of the artists that I've talked to, at least with like I mean, Greens on Toast, I think I'm the closest with. I talk with him like quite a bit. I've hung out with him in real life quite a bit. And he kind of shares that sentiment in the sense that like Incelcore is kind of like the only thing that we have. And especially since it's kind of I mean, we kind of went through like a little dark age, like 2022 and like most of 2023, where it was kind of like there wasn't really much being made. A lot of the big names were kind of like on hiatus.
That was right after the Up to the Wolves takedown and whatnot too.
Yeah.
Dark time.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. I have a little story about that, but it was I think it was like no one was making anything, and like Shooter was gone. He was off doing whatever, like playing to like 4 people in a field in Texas. Like nothing was literally nothing was happening. And I was looking at it, I was like, fuck, dude, it's like the scene dead. It's like this is probably it, dude. Like I don't think anything's ever happening again. Yeah, I was like totally like it's over. Time to go like weasel into the emo scene. Fuck my life. Fuck my stupid Chungus life, dude. But like I don't know, like I was seeing like a big sentiment of like people like talking about like, oh dude, like E-punk, like we're E-punk. And I feel like that like low key like kind of killed the scene like a little bit, because it was like people like threw away like the whole provocative nature. People, like, no offense to Incelcore artists, but like not really a lot of them make like super thought-provoking, interesting, groundbreaking music. And the name 100%. Kind of is like the only thing. Like the name really is the only thing. And notice how like Incelcore is like a name is coming back, and now there's a whole big like underground thing, and now like Fried is like big again, and everyone's like doing stuff again, and everyone's like on board with it again.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like the whole counterculture thing was like the only thing that we had, and
totally
we threw it away because it was like I want to be like a serious artist. Like, no, you don't. You want to make like gay, stupid music, and you want to make money and have fans.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the scene.
No, you're totally right. I totally agree with you. I've ever since I joined the scene, I've told people I hate that like 90% of the songs made nowadays are just about guys who are like, oh, I miss my girlfriend, or my girlfriend left me. It's like, I've never touched a woman. You know, make something more interesting than that. You know, every single genre on planet Earth is about like lost love. Let's get back to our roots here, talking about one of Crust Sock's biggest songs, you know, Kind Stranger. That one is hilarious, right?
Yeah, I love that song.
There's plenty of other songs that exist like that all around the scene that people just they don't try to recreate, you know, or they don't aim for like actual cultural elements. They just aim for like this like gay stuff. And yeah, I totally agree with you, man.
Yeah.
But sort of then, speaking of the scene, I guess, you claim you say that you love Incelcore and all this. Obviously, there's a very specific culture that goes along with it. You've agreed it's based around incel subculture.
Yes, I think I know where the question's going.
You are not an incel by any stretch.
Not at all. Like literally not at all. I'm a fake cell through and through.
The fakest of fake cells.
This is true.
Haven't you claimed to be one in the past?
I mean, I think I sort of was when I first started. Like I was just like whatever. Like I was just like maladjusted social freak who like like I used to walk around like I used to like skip class and like walk around my high school like with my head down, like listening to like genuinely like I used to listen to like Incelcore and like walk around my school with my head down.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was like a huge nerd, and I was like a big like social outcast, and I started making music. And I mean, my current girlfriend, like I met her through the scene, so it's kind of like you can't make Incelcore and be an incel at the same time. It's kind of just like it got to me, man. I tried to stay pure. I couldn't resist it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I feel like you can kind of tell when someone's genuine about it, you know, because it's not like I'm not punking like the scene by doing that, you know. And I feel like most people like don't give a shit, you know.
Sure.
I mean, to be honest, you kind of win if you become a fake cell.
Right, yeah, exactly. And it's also like people like, I mean, maybe if you like care like a lot, like, and you're like you like care if like someone's like a fake cell or not, but like at the end of the day, like you can tell when someone's music is genuine. You can tell when their message is genuine. You can tell when they really do care about things. And not to like toot my own horn, but like I do like care about things, you know. And I'm kind of like dedicated like to this whole movement and everything.
Well, that's good.
And it's like you have people. I'm trying to think of like a specific. I guess I'll go with a really safe example. Like you have people like Shooter, where it's like you can kind of tell like they like it's probably was genuine at one point, but like nowadays I feel like he's just pandering to his audience because he has it, and that's like his only way of like being relevant, you know?
Right. Well, I mean, he's even said F the fans before, you know, like he hates his fans.
Yeah. But like it's like it's like stuff like that. You can tell that he doesn't like, he hates you. He hates you. He doesn't make music for you. He makes music to profit off of you. You know, he doesn't give a shit.
Right.
But it's like, you know, I mean, me, I make my stuff for myself. You know, I sing about stuff that happened to me, and I talk about stuff that relates to me. You know, and
Sure.
it's kind of it's a selfish thing, but it's also like it's a selfless thing too, because I've like poured my time and effort into throwing shows and everything. I mean, like the Steakfry Memorial show. I mean, that was like probably the most genuine thing I've like done ever, because I was half of setting that whole thing up. I helped pick a date. I helped like talk to the venue. I helped like set things up. I helped draw up like who's going to be there. I talked to people. I originally, you know, I hit up Fry like 2 months before, and I was like, hey, do you want to do it? And he was like, yeah, sure. And he was like totally on board with it until the day of, and he was like, I don't want to go.
Wow, huh?
Yeah, which I mean, I'm not really angry about it, because I think he just does that like regardless. I mean, he did the same thing with Doomerfest and Virgin Fest, and I should have been expecting it. I just thought like maybe maybe it would be like a more like,
You're like, I'm different.
I am different. I am totally different. I'm literally built different, but like all I don't know. I'm not really pissed off though. It doesn't really bother me. Plus, it's also kind of cool to not show up to shows. Like it's kind of as much
cool.
as much as it pissed me off. It was like it's like kind of cool. It's like mysterious.
I think it.
He gained aura points by not showing up.
Yeah, no, genuinely, that's like aura. That's like plus aura, dude. Like not showing up to shows. Literally saying that you're gonna show up to a show and then not doing it. Like seriously, that is like cool. That's kind of cool.
I think it's kind of cool, but like when you do it every single show and everyone expects you to skip the show every single time, it gets kind of stupid.
I do agree with that, but at the end of the day, you know, it is kind of cool.
Someone, I forget who it was, and I hope I'm not revealing too much when I say this, but somebody had messaged Fried, I think with the Steakfry Memorial show, and they're like, hey, are you coming or not? And Fried said something like, no, I have car problems or something. And the guy messaged him back. He's like, well, it better be bad. And then Fried sent him a photo of like the husk of a car that was completely destroyed on the highway.
Yeah, no, that was like totally. I mean, that was totally fake.
Right? No, totally. It's just
that was
hilarious.
100% fake. I know that was fake, but it's. I mean, I think more so is like the whole "fuck the fans" message on the day of the show. That was. I mean, like as much as I could be pissed off, like I don't really care all that much, because it was still like a fun show. And
sure,
I mean, it was my first show ever. It was like my first time ever playing to an audience.
Yeah, you want to talk a little bit more about this? Like you said, you were half of the people that set it up. Who was the other guy?
It was if you ever seen the live footage of Doomerfest, the guy who drums for Jezebel.
Oh, that guy who like shows up for that one song.
He's my drummer, and him and I set it up because he.
Oh, that's why I thought you went to Doomerfest, because I think we talked about this at some point.
He was Hollowed's drummer, and he was also Steakfry's drummer during the when Steakfry like played in New York.
Does he have a name?
Dangul Bangiana. He's not like an active scene person. He's mostly on like Instagram and Twitter.
Huh.
But
dang.
He's my drummer, and him and I are friends, pretty good friends. And we
whose idea was it?
It was both of ours. He called me the day that Steakfry died, and we were like talking about it. And he was like, we gotta do a show. So we decided on about a year after. It was about a year after. I think they both took place in November. And it was, we got to run out. We talked to everyone, got Hollowed on board. We loaded it up with bands, and we just had a fun time and all that stuff.
Cool.
And we're doing it again this year. I guess I'll announce that now. We're doing it again this year.
Wow. Another Steakfry Memorial show, or is it different?
Yeah. I think we're doing it year round. Going to turn into a yearly thing.
Cool.
A lot of bands this time. A lot of scene names. Actual scene show. Big scene show.
Do you want to announce who's going to be showing up right now, or?
I can say who said yes so far. I think Grains on Toast will be playing. I'm pretty sure Yaller Hornet will be playing if his car is fixed by then. Zarbomba said he would show. Hollowed's definitely showing. I'll be there. We were talking about getting somebody from across the pond to fly over.
No way.
Ooh.
Won't say who.
I wonder who that could be.
I can't say who. Yeah, a lot of. I'm trying to think about who else. I know I talked to a bunch of other people about it. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember, but it'll be a big show. At least I think around like 6 or 7 acts people in the scene.
Can you reveal whereabouts the location is going to be, like a region?
Probably the same spot as last year, which would be like New York by the a little north of the city.
Wow. All right. Sweet.
Yeah, Ofigs is sad because he can't come from his California hell.
Maybe I will. I don't know. Maybe I'll start saving up. If this is
I mean,
far
if you
enough
fly out, you can do like a little Nardwar thing.
Yeah. Interview people, stick a camera.
That'd
in
be
their
cool.
face.
That would be totally cool,
Wouldn't it? Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, I could hold the camera or the mic or something.
Yeah.
True.
Well, that's very cool. So that's going to be in November also then, huh?
Probably, yeah, November, December around. I mean, I have yet to decide on a date, but
Well, very cool.
Considering like the week before, the week after Thanksgiving.
Okay. Yeah. If you want to let us know again before it happens, we'd love to announce that again on the podcast.
Yeah,
here.
that would rule. That would totally rule. That'd be cool.
Totally. That'll be very cool. Yeah, it's good to see that you are super like in touch with the scene. To sort of go back to what you had been saying earlier. You'd been saying like, oh, I don't know why, like, it doesn't really matter if a guy has a girlfriend or not. I think why some people think it does matter is because they would see a guy getting a girlfriend as like the mark for when a lot of guys, it seems, turn away from the scene. They like either start hating on the scene or they hate on the culture.
Yeah.
And that's just an easy point of reference to use for when a guy like turns on it, whereas you seem to be the exception to where you have a girlfriend, but you are still obviously fully committed, which is really cool to see. I mean, I think you've tagged all of your recent songs for the past several months as Incelcore, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm not like, I don't know. I don't really believe in like, I mean, I guess I'm a little bit of an exception because I kind of have like a certain value where I don't really think getting like a girlfriend should really change you. I don't think like being in like a relationship, you should let the other person like totally like turn you away from everything that you like love. Because I see that like a lot. Like, I don't know. I guess like there's like stuff with like there's like Kurt Cobain and like Courtney Love, or like she's like an evil bitch, or like Ian and Anissa Joma and like
iDubbbz and his girlfriend
Yoko Ono. Yeah, Yoko Ono.
Yeah.
Where it's like getting a girlfriend like totally just like ruins you.
Yep.
And I guess I've seen so much of that happen, like especially with Shooter. I mean, I'm pretty sure like Shooter got a girlfriend and like totally like turned around on everything.
That's when he started chimping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it totally is. And there are definitely a lot of people who have gone that way. There is a myth that happened to Ann Hero. It did not happen to Ann Hero.
Yeah,
he just quietly left.
He's a true self for life.
Yeah, Ann Hero. I will say Ann Hero is still a good guy. Yeah, he's a good guy. Okay, he's not away from the scene. He's a good guy.
Right.
He's still for the culture. But there are like I've seen it happen to a lot of people, and I don't know. I guess I just don't like that. I feel like if you're committed to something, you should be committed to it. And if you get like a partner or whatever, they should be cool with you being like committed to whatever gay music that you're committed to.
So your girlfriend knows that you're an Incelcore rock star?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she
goes to like shows and shit, right?
Yeah, she goes to. She's been at every show that I've played, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
Yeah, about everyone. And I mean, it's like I understand like if you're like into it and you see a dude like get a girlfriend, you're like, oh dude, what the fuck, man? But it's like it's really if somebody lets like a girl like turn them away from everything that they do, then they never really enjoyed doing it in the first place,
Right, sure.
Like, I mean, like Fried has been with at least one woman before, and he's still he's still
the love I lost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's not exactly like what's the word? It's not exactly mutually exclusive. You can mess around with women and still be like an Incelcore rock star. You just have to be like cool about it,
Sure. Well, that's cool to hear then. Interesting to hear. You got to be one of the only guys who still identifies with Incelcore but has a girlfriend. because I swear every single person like leaves or turns on the scene if that happens.
Mm,
But
Based fake cell question mark.
true. I'm an honorary incel.
Yeah. Good way to put it. You also I forgot to bring this up. You talk about setting up these live shows. You'd also set up, I think it was you, set up a band called Redpilled Rockstars.
Yes.
And this involved Deep Blue, Durr, he used to be known as the Durs, and Copers, which is, it seems like a very strange collection of guys, these three, and then you also. How did this come about? Where did this band come from?
I think the idea was shot around by Coper, who is like, well, Copers is like, it is a band that comprises multiple individuals, but there's one guy who is like kind of the head of it, and he's Coper. And I'm pretty sure Copers is broken up now. I think they're done. But I think it was him like talking to me, and he was like, "Hey, we should start like a joke like Incelcore group or whatever." And I think Durr was like the one who shot out like Redpilled Rockstars, and we made like a bunch of like stupid like songs and whatever. And I think Durr's like only contribution was like half an instrumental, and on like the one song he just says, "Let's get it, I'm ready." And it like took him, like we had like all the songs ready for like 3 months, and it just took him like 3 months to send in like that one little like soundbite so that we could like put it all up and everything.
Wow.
But it was I'm surprised you brought that up, because it was like I forget about it half the time. Let's see, I'm pulling up the SoundCloud page right now so I can look at it.
Sure.
Yeah, it was like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago or so. Yeah. That was when I was like tiny. I was a little fish.
Right.
Yeah, it was a cool album. I enjoyed making it.
To be honest, when I was first considering like getting into the scene, like that was one of the first like things I found, because it was one of the only like Incelcore things that was on like Bandcamp when I was looking on there.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Coper is big on Bandcamp. He does he's like the only guy who actually like considers to put stuff on Bandcamp. People have been telling me to put stuff on Bandcamp for like the longest time, and I'm just like, I'm too lazy to do it.
Dude, who uses Bandcamp?
People just buy shit. It's weird.
I feel like there's like 20 people who use Bandcamp, and they just like, and they all like spend like $1 million on it a year.
I did have some questions about this band. Namely, could you tell us what the credits mean? Because in the description of some of the songs, it says credits, Ozzy for banning Blue and Blue for angering Ozzy. What does that mean? Do you remember?
I think this was ICG drama, where Ozzy was one of the mods. I don't remember what he goes by now, but he's some like, he doesn't make music. I think he's just like some guy who's around in the scene. I think like Deep Blue was said some like dumb shit. Ozzy was like really angry and said some dumb shit back, and then banned him. And that's, I don't even remember like why that was written. I think that was just like some off note.
Oh. And what was also one of your songs is like called Hot Leather Banned Me or Blocked Me. What's that about?
I think Hot Leather just blocked Coper, and he wrote a song about it. I think that's about it. Like it's not really that
there's nothing too deep about it. It really was just like a fun band idea.
Yeah, it was something dumb.
Okay, gotcha. Well, cool. Why this collection of guys though? Like it's such a strange, like random collection.
I feel like it's like something that could have only happened like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I feel like it was just like a bunch of dudes were like bored in like a server and just made like a quick little project.
Gotcha.
And I mean that doesn't really happen too much anymore. I mean, I guess there are a few other things. I guess there's like Tech Club, and there's like the whole origami comp now. I'm not used to that like happening so much. Normally when like a little project happens, it's like a big deal. Like I remember like I think in like that whole year, like a little side projects were like very rare. So I was like, whatever, I guess we'll do something.
Yeah. So do you ever see like a Redpilled Rockstars 2 in the future or no?
It would be possible. I know like Deep Blue is like totally out of the scene now. I know he's like not. He he doesn't touch it anymore. But it's possible. Me and Durr were talking about it because it is an election year.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is certainly possible. I wouldn't get your hopes up, but it can happen. Anything can happen.
Well, interesting. Yeah, hopefully, because these bands like these, I only know about this one and then maybe one other like Incelcore band that started with guys from the scene. I love it. I love the idea of it. It's so cool.
I'm trying to remember what's the other one that you're referencing?
I hate that you asked that because I've totally forgotten the name.
Is it because I know there was Pol Pot's Playhouse?
That might be what I'm thinking of. I know there was
I think that was other. Owen Yallerhornet and Jezebel.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking about. Yeah,
that was for like a month. I think they got together and just made a bunch of songs.
Well, just the idea of like a band like forming with guys from the scene. It's like a refreshing thing than just like a comp album, you know?
Yeah. But I think comp albums are in the culture, you know?
Right. Yeah. Totally. That's sort of what drives the scene forward. Honestly, is it's like we're just living in between big comp album drops, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right.
I did want to ask you about one of your songs really quick. You have this song called "Don't Go," which is one of my favorite songs of yours.
Was that the inspiration for the Incelcore fan song?
The comments were the inspiration for my I Love Incelcore song, because in the comments there's a guy that says, you know, name every if you're an Incelcore fan, name every Incelcore artist, and there's a guy who went through and did that, you know, or tried. He didn't name everyone, and he named some people who aren't even in the scene, but that gave me the idea. But the song itself, though, I love it because it's like it's about lamenting people leaving the scene, right, and like sort of like the scene dying. But the thing with the song, though, a lot of the people mentioned didn't even really leave it. I mean, you mentioned yourself in it, which, you know, is a little funny to me, but you obviously didn't leave. And then you also mentioned Crust Socks, Heart, Fried, Neat. I mean, they still consider themselves Incelcore. What was the sort of goal with this song, or like, what was the idea behind it?
I feel like I was kind of just like singing about people who are just like I think it was like about how like from a viewer's perspective, it was about like kind of just like hating people for distancing themselves or like getting a different sound or doing like all this kind of stuff. And it was kind of like me like getting like I was kind of pissed off because I felt like I was like a little angry at it because I was like at this whole like phenomenon of people being like, oh dude, you're like not even Incelcore anymore, or you're leaving, or you're doing your own thing. And it's like, I don't know, that's just how you make like more people leave the scene, you know? Like I was just like, it was like crab in a bucket like mentality, you know? And I think I mentioned that like a lot in a song where it was and it's like, but it's like you have people like especially like Death Tech and Jezebel and you know, and to like a much lesser extent like Hollowed, where they kind of like get like a more a distant sound, and as a result they attract like a different fan base, and people like view it as like traitorous or whatever. And it's just like, I don't know, like that's just how you get like more people to leave the scene. And it just seems like it's like really lame when you do stuff like that, because I feel like it just like breaks down the whole community and encourages like a bunch of factionalism.
True.
Yeah.
No, that's the exact vibes I got from the song. I just wanted to make sure that is what it was about. I wasn't sure. It's hard to tell if that was like a joke song or not, especially since you like knock Gamer 3 in it.
Yeah. Because it was Gamer 3 sucks.
Dude, by the way, I agree with you. I hated Gamer 3. I thought that was his worst album.
I kind of like, I thought it was like cool as like a novelty. It was like a cool novelty thing, but I feel like it wasn't like a Negative XP album. It was like a side project thing. Yeah. You know, it'd be like it's like your favorite fucking artist having like a dungeon synth project. Like, it's like all right, but like don't put it on the main, dude. like
literally. I totally agree with that, dude. But yeah, that's great. I think that song was great. I think that sort of proved to me that you were like real with the scene, because only somebody who cares about it could make a song like that, you know? But you've also, so like I said, you mentioned these guys, Crust Socks, Heart, Fried, and Neat in that song. You've also said like in other places, I think it was mostly in a Twitter space that you went on, which I was in, and you had said that you're like close with Fried and Neat. Is that true? Like you like talk with them?
with a lesser extent, Neat, but Fried and Heartbreaker. I would consider myself at the very least, like friendly with them. Yeah.
So I was wondering then, do you have any insight at all? A big piece of news was that Farmyard is not coming out. The new comp that these guys were making, it's not coming out. It's been totally canceled. And apparently there was some big drama between these guys. It's kind of unknown what. Fried just sort of talked about it on a live that he did.
Mm-hmm.
But he said that they're kind of mad at each other now. There's a falling out and it's not happening anymore. Do you have any insight to why this happened at all?
I literally have no clue. I didn't even know this happened, actually. Can you fill me in, since you seem to know a bit more about it than me? I can maybe give some ideas, but...
Yeah, well, basically what happened is these guys were, hyping this comp coming out, Farmyard, for a while. They were all going to have 2 songs on it. It was Neat, Crust Socks, Heartbreaker, Fried by Fluoride, and then also Edgemaster 42.
Mm-hmm.
And they came on the podcast and did like a promotion for it. We did like a promotional interview for it.
Mm.
But just days before it was supposed to release, I think Fried started saying publicly that it was not going to come out. And the day it came out, a bunch of people asked these guys, what's happening? Where's Farmyard? And they, Neat, Crust, Heart, and Fried, I think, all made their own separate posts about it saying, yeah, it's canceled. It's not happening.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that happened.
Yeah, and they're starting to release their songs now on their own accounts that were going to be put on the comp. But yeah, so now it's totally over with.
Mm. Yeah, I don't really know the extent of it, but I can assume it's probably, the root of it is probably Fried. I mean, he's you kind of seen it like a lot before. Like he just like, the dude just like gets drunk and like does things. And I love the guy, and he's a great dude, but he just does that, and he's a very impulsive guy. So I imagine it was probably something like that. And the other thing about Fried is like he like literally doesn't care. Like he actually doesn't give like a shit like at all. He does not. He's not care. So it's like that totally doesn't surprise me like whatsoever that would happen.
I think it's so poetic that the 2 biggest guys that this scene has ever had, Negative XP and Fried by Fluoride, both of them have such like, I don't want to knock Fried with this, but they both have like kind of toxic personalities, at least for building a scene or cultivating a culture.
Like self-destructive.
Yeah, they're a little self-destructive.
I mean, it's punk rock though. It's totally punk rock.
Oh yeah.
Right. I mean, they're such a great like embodiment of like the core of the scene. It's just hilarious that they're the ones that the algorithm blew up,
Yeah. It is awesome. I that is like really funny.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, it's just whatever, man. I just like, there will probably be more like big stuff coming out. It just has to be headed by someone who doesn't cancel at last minute,
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, I thought it was I was really looking forward to it. They did a great job hyping it up, and yeah, it's too bad that it was canceled, but hopefully those guys will. I mean, I already know that at least one of them, anyways, is working on. He's got a new project in the works that'll be interesting to see come out.
Is it?
Well, I'm not going to reveal anything. I don't know if they want it exposed.
Okay.
But,
okay.
Yeah, there's still. All I'm saying is that there's still like there's still good things coming. It's not over.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, I'm sure everybody's disappointed that it didn't come out though, but it's whatever.
Right.
I think we've pretty much gone over everything I wanted to talk about. Strep, do you have anything that I've missed with Watermark here?
Not anything like super insane, but like I guess we could talk about like gear. So I know you use Audacity. How did you start with that? You still use Audacity? What's going on with that?
Yeah, I do actually. I love Audacity. Audacity is awesome. Not to be like oh like Shooter uses it, or Shooter used it at least, so that's how I should do it. But I found out like accidentally that like the way that I like do my songs is like almost like the exact same way that Shooter does his. I program my drums through FL Studio, and I also and then I record everything else through Audacity, which I'm pretty sure is like 1-to-1, like exactly the process that Shooter used as well.
Cool.
But I mean I don't know. I just like how like cooked and like bad Audacity makes everything sound, because I don't really trust myself with like cleaner recording equipment, and I've been like using the same microphone for like 5 years or 6 years or so. I think I have like an amp that plugs into my computer, and I just have like a clean tone that I run a big muff and a tube distortion pedal with the tone cranked all the way up.
Oh, sick.
Through it, and then that goes into my computer and I record that way. And I have a Jaguar. I have a Squier Jaguar.
Nice.
That's my gear. That's the gear that I use. And for bass, I think I also record my bass through a guitar amp.
Yeah.
The same amp, and I just use a shitty like clean tone.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere you're not supposed to do that, but every time I plugged the bass into a guitar amp, nothing bad has happened. So
yeah, and I think it like can fuck with your speakers if you crank it really loud, but I like don't do that. I have a digital amp, so it like doesn't mean anything.
For sure.
And I've sort of said before that throughout your whole time in the scene, you've managed to keep a pretty consistent sound. Is that the sound that you always aim for? Do you use like presets to achieve that specifically, or what?
I mean, I guess like my specific sound, it's a lot of people ask me about this. Like they ask me like, how do you record vocals, or how do I record vocals more so? Like people are like, how do you do this? How do you do this really good? And it's like, I don't know. Like my strategy from the start was always just like layer things until it sounds really good. Or at least until it sounds like plausible, or just layer everything in so much distortion that you can't tell that it sounds bad.
Yeah.
Especially with vocals. I mean, my vocal strategy is like very like completely off the walls, and it varies song to song. So I don't really have like a specific process. To be honest, like the way that I make music is very it's very chaotic. Like
from scratch?
Yeah, a lot of it is very from scratch. Like everything, I don't really have any presets. I didn't really learn anything from anyone. Like I have like inspirations, but I don't really take after a certain method. I've kind of just like, it's kind of just like balls to the walls, like whatever sticks, and that's just what I stick with.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you said earlier we would come back to Up to the Wolves being taken down. What was that about?
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, this is actually a big deal. I think like the month after Shooter struck down Up to the Wolves, he uploaded an entire music video on his second channel for the album that I had released, like I think like probably like the same month that Up to the Wolves main channel got struck down, which is rock music for the disabled. It was a full music video for the whole album, front to back, start to finish.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that actually.
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, holy shit, this is like awesome. And then I got really pissed off because I was like, this is on his second channel with like 200 subscribers. And it could have been on his main channel. That could have been my big break. That could have been it. It wasn't. I was like, what the fuck, dude? I was pissed off, man.
Is the second channel still up, or are you talking about UTTW?
Yes, it is still up. You can find it. I think I'll try to find it. It might be like,
because I know that his re-upload channel is UTTW, I think 2.
Yes, UTTW 2. Yeah. That's it.
Oh, that is it. Okay.
That is the channel that it's on. I
think it has more now.
I think it's like it was one of the first. Yeah, it was one of the first. It was the first original like music video that he released like on the channel before he abandoned it.
And do you have any idea what happened to him? I mean, him disappearing is just insane to me. That guy had so much talent; he could have easily just restarted. You know?
I think it was just like, it's just motivation. You know, when you get struck down, you just don't really want to. Because I really do, like, I do feel terrible for him, because he really was like an integral part of the scene.
Right.
And it was like the closest thing that we have to like kind of like that we had to kind of like a
radio, like
an Incelcore MTV. Yeah, or like an MTV or something like that. Like it was like if you were good, and if you made like cool music, then you got an Up to the Wolves music video, and that was just it. And people loved him. People loved it. Like people were huge on his music videos. Like they loved it, and It just sucks that we don't have that anymore. And I feel like part of the reason that the scene like kind of was in a dark age for the past like couple of years is because like we didn't have anyone, like it was only musicians and like listeners, and it wasn't like there wasn't anyone else like getting it out to people. And I think that's we kind of do have something like that now, where it's kind of like we have hosting the E-CELs thing. I really do appreciate it, because I think it's cool to have like, it's cool that a community has like layers,
Right.
And
I totally
having
agree.
like more people who are like in the scene and not really in the scene, but like adjacent to it, who are helping people move up and reach new audiences and new musicians to listen to and all that stuff. It is very like, I really do appreciate it. And stuff like that, like it's just cool. It's cool, and it really does bring me back to thinking about how like we actually like had a community, and I think we're moving back towards that. I think there really is like a lot of potential in the scene. I think it could be like a big thing, and I think especially now, like it's a lot of people are really pissed off now, and a lot of people have like a lot of angst.
Yeah.
And it's our job as like counterculture people to be the trampoline that they land on before they hit the ground, which is killing themselves,
Right.
And we
Totally.
can use a lot of suicidal energy in this scene to make like totally awesome stuff.
Very true. But speaking of all that, are you going to be making a song for the competition? Are you going to be participating?
Oh, I mean, I guess I totally could. I have like a lot of songs. I have a lot of demos that I could totally like remaster. I've been in a little bit of a songwriting drought recently, so I've been drawing on old demos. I could totally do something.
It's open to everybody. You have until July 23rd.
I mean, there's
Whoa.
$500 roonies of Ofig's personal like savings on the line.
Have you guys
here.
been getting a lot of submissions, or?
There are I'm not going to say how many, but there are a bunch of submissions, and there are a few songs that are really good that have already come
That
in.
is really cool. That's cool.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to this. So the more people that participate, the better, honestly. I think it'll just it can only be good.
That is really awesome. That is really cool. And hopefully we can get another like Incelcore like community thing up that has less CP posting and gore posting and raids and everything.
And we've even talked about that, maybe using the E-CEL brand to start something like that.
Yeah, totally.
We're going to be looking into it in the future, but if somebody else wants to do it, go right ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I would totally do it if no one else is doing it, but like,
right.
I don't know. It just seems like a lot of work, but it has to be like a grassroots thing. Yeah.
There's definitely a need for it. Ever since Neat's server, ever since they deleted that, there's definitely
I think people just didn't want to police it. No one like cared enough to moderate it. It was just a whole shit show.
It was just everything in general. Like,
yeah, I tried to be active, but it was like the people in it just like totally sucked. Like they were like,
yeah,
they were just like the worst people ever, and there was no one to go in there and be like, you guys suck.
Yeah. Only like a few of the VCs were like kind of chill, but it was only when there were like only a couple people in there that it was chill.
It was only when there were old heads in there.
Yeah. It was only
old heads. Only the old heads were cool.
Yeah. And then what's it called? Yeah, it would just get chaotic. Too many voids, too many people shouting for attention. It was crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I just think like I feel like that's like the main problem. The issue isn't like fake cells or anything. The issue is like all like the pick me like types that would come in and they'd be like Bryn, dude. Like who let Bryn into the scene,
dude? Yeah, don't even say her name on my podcast.
Why was she in there?
About her.
oh yeah.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. Like all that stuff is just like how are you like a counterculture like scene, and then you let like the most like safe people the most safe people make like the most like low effort like shit posty type stuff. Like it's not and it'd be cool if it was shit posting, but it's not. It wasn't like at all. Like Bryn was like totally serious, and she thought she was like a rock star or whatever. Now she's dating some like freak or whatever. It's like, dude, come on.
Well, it's funny. You look exactly like her boyfriend.
Do I? Wait,
You
hang
look
on.
a lot like him, Jimbo Zoomer.
Really?
Jimbo Zoomer.
And do you know who Jimbo Zoomer? Do you know who he is?
No, I have no clue who he is. Holy shit. Holy shit.
Yeah, you look just like him. He's connected with this the online right wing, America First.
Yeah, I know. He's like in with like the Nick Fuentes like crowd and whatever.
He's like his
right?
best friend or one of his best friends. Yeah.
I don't know. I just think like
he kind of looks like a cross between Lil Watermark and PewDiePie.
a little bit. Yeah,
Right?
I agree with that. I have to look out. if they break up. I need to put my anti-Bryn repellent. I think we live in the same state. I think Bryn lives in like New York City though.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's scary, dude.
Yeah, watch out. Don't want to be groomed. I mean,
True.
Jez somebody, so who knows what Bryn's capable of.
Bryn isn't like 6'5" though.
True.
Dude, I don't even know. I don't know why Jezebel ever like broke the news that she was a girl after everyone saw her in real life. I think it totally could have flew that she was a guy after everyone saw her. Like she looks like a missing like one of those ground sloths. Like she has so much fur on her. She has like matted fur, dude. Like the top of her head, her hair like obscured like her entire face. Like it was like, I don't know. Dude, like
one of those metal guys with like the huge like Megadeth t-shirts and like the super long hair.
Yeah, no, totally. And you can you're in the presence of them because you can smell them from miles away.
Wow. Yeah, female Neanderthal.
True. It's just, I don't know, like I just think it's like it's better for the scene to be like better than better policing itself. Just because like it's like we always go after like the wrong people, It's always like people who are like very obvious bait that are always getting like people are like getting pissed off at them. Like the whole WizTow stuff and everything. Like everyone was like, oh, they're actually doing cult stuff. They're like Satan worshippers. I think the WizTow thing was like started by like Zorilla as like a joke. It was like a whole joke thing, and it was just like Shooter like pearl clutched over it or whatever.
Well,
it's just boring.
There was drama. Some allegations that the WizTow group was playing with like a dead carcass of like a raccoon at Doomerfest.
Oh yeah, that was Raccoon King. He's like a black metal dude or whatever, and he was like I'm gonna play with this raccoon corpse. And everyone was like, oh wow, look, a raccoon corpse. And everyone played with it, and then they all got sick.
Oh my gosh.
Like I don't know, like I don't know if that's inherently like satanic or whatever. That's probably something like Gigi Allen did in the 70s or
it's
whatever.
Just gross.
Like that. It's just like
yeah,
it's
maybe
gross.
not satanic, but it
like,
is definitely off-putting,
Yeah, no, totally. But it's just like that's just what you get, You're in a weird music scene. You get like 14-year-olds with who are like 4'8" with like a dead raccoon throwing it at your friends. It's just what you get, dude.
Sure.
I think the energy needs to be like aimed at like people who are like very obvious like grifters. Like you guys remember Penguin Band?
Yeah.
He was like making like the most LARPcore, like LARPy, like school shooter type stuff.
He and My Old Headache just fucked off, like seriously.
Yeah, and then they come around and they're like Incelcore is evil. I can't believe the fan base I've attracted. This music is terrible. I can't believe it. I'm a horrible person. And it's like everyone else like the music in the scene is generally just like melancholic, like teenager music. Like generally, it is pretty. I mean, it is pretty generic stuff. You don't have to like make like, you don't have to be like saying like a 4-chord punk song yelling like I'm Adam Lanza, I'm shooting kids. Like that's like not what everyone's doing. That's not what anyone's doing. No one's doing that.
Hard, there's one person who is doing that actually.
yeah, but it's like if one person's doing that, I guess that's fine. But it's like if you're acting like that's like a blanket statement on like the whole scene, it's like right. I don't think Crust Socks makes that. I don't think Fried by Fluoride makes that.
Yeah.
I don't think Neat has ever said that he's Adam Lanza and he's shooting kids. No one's done that. No one does that. None of the big names do that. Why are you doing that and saying that that's everyone? Like you're lame for doing that. That's like retarded.
Is that how Penguin Band? I thought Penguin Band left because of the whole grooming thing with Fried by Fluoride or something.
I think that's what he said. Something that's what he said originally, but he was also like talking about the scene and everything.
Yeah.
And he was like, this music scene is evil.
He posted like this
and
big
this music scene's
paragraph,
terrible.
right?
Yeah, yeah. And it was about like, and he was like making like big blanket statements about the scene and everything. And it's like, I understand if you have a problem with the fried stuff. I feel like it's a lot. It's not as cut and dry as like he groomed this girl. I think it was a bit. It's a bit more. Like it's not as like I don't think it's really as serious. Yeah, it's like
I don't see the big
like,
seriousness with it either, frankly.
I think the whole story is like the girl like hit him up and she was like, "Hey, can I be your girlfriend?" And Fry was like, "Okay, whatever," you know. And it was like I think like,
and he just doesn't give a fuck, so he just doesn't.
Yeah, like
himself.
he doesn't care, so he just like went along with it.
Yeah, he has no sense of self-preservation. It's hilarious.
Right. It's just like I feel like that's why I didn't really take it serious because I doubt it's like he literally like pulled his cock out on Instagram Live like multiple times.
I remember that.
Like,
I was there.
I feel like it's just like whatever, you know. Like if you're gonna get mad at him for something, like get mad at him for like that, not for like seemingly taking the bait when like some 14-year-old girl like cloud chaser tries to.
Yeah, get mad at him for flashing heart.
Right. True.
With all of that stuff, then, what is your opinion then on gatekeeping the scene? Do you see it as something that's necessary or something that has to happen to a small extent, to a large extent? What's your opinion?
I think probably to a small extent. I think the only thing that you really need to gatekeep. I mean, I feel like the scene kind of gatekeeps itself, you know?
Right.
When it's Incelcore, you know?
That's what the Big Four had said when we had them on here. I think I kind of I came out of that agreeing with them to an extent.
Because like, it's like anyone who's attracted to the idea of like Incelcore is already like, you know, they're already someone that's probably gonna enjoy the music. You know, because 90% of it is the name. And if you don't like people who are going to come in and like grift and be like lame, if they don't agree with the message, they're probably not going to associate, you know, as long as it's not like, I mean, I guess if it like becomes like big and it starts making like a whole big amount of money, maybe we can talk about gatekeeping, but I don't really think that's going to happen. Like, I don't think it's going to be like as big as like something like maybe like some other internet scenes that have popped up in recent years, like maybe like hyperpop or like the scene stuff or anything like that, because it's not really a sound. It's not appealing to anyone by like,
it's not marketable
by
to
nature.
Rainbow. Like,
right. It's not, it isn't marketable whatsoever.
Like you can't market this to like college kids.
Right. And it's like, look what happened to like the punk scene. You know, you had to water it down for it to become like consumable.
Yeah.
Like there isn't a straight line from like someone like Gigi Allen to Green Day. There's not a straight line. You had to water that down. You had the message had to be watered down and everything. And I just don't see like pop Incelcore. I see pop e-punk. I see that coming about.
Yeah.
Just why you can't have e-punk. You can't have
it's
that.
basically just like shitty emo though. Like it's barely even a different genre.
Right, yeah,
so.
no, I agree with that. It's just, I don't know. Like I think the name is like 90% of it, and I think that does like most of the gatekeeping, and I think that's the reason that the scene has mostly remained like pretty genuine throughout its entire tenure, because it's not like it's not really it's really easy to gatekeep it because it does everything itself. You know, if some normie sees it, they're not gonna dress up and put on a bunch of Negative XP t-shirts and walk around and call women whores and be like, I'm an incel now. I hate girls. Like, you don't have to worry about that. You literally don't, because like no one's gonna do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Watch, we'll get like anti-feminism becoming popular somehow. Like it will become mainstream, and then we'll have big corporations like putting out like merch and shit.
That would be crazy.
It's going to be on a billboard.
That'd be insane. It'd be him next to his cock.
Awesome. Oh man.
Yeah, they'll be selling like neat chips in like the supermarket.
True.
You know how they did
Crust
those like
socks,
fucking like those
crusty
wrap
socks.
chips? Do you remember that at like Walmart?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah,
Those are
like
cool.
imagine that, but it's like Incelcore, guys.
That'd be cool. Salt and Vin Watermark. Need some work.
Hallowed chips.
Fried with fluoride.
Yeah.
Hey, Strep, did you have anything more that you wanted to bring up with Watermark before we close out this interview?
I think that was it.
I think that we've covered a heck of a lot. Watermark, do you have any questions for us before we end this thing, or?
Not exactly. Listen to my album P Nice. I worked really hard on it.
For sure.
And listen to my music, stream my music like forever. Get me to like 1 trillion listeners.
If you want to go ahead and tell everybody where they can listen to you at, like, and all your socials, like where they can follow you for updates or anything, and then any big projects that you have coming up in the future, go ahead and share them now.
Okay. You can find me on Spotify, on Soundcloud, on Apple Music, on whatever fucking bullshit you want to listen to your music on. It's Lil Watermark. It's the name. It's the same on everything. I'm not really on YouTube. I want to make some music videos soon. My friends and I are planning on getting together and getting a bunch of footage of like me breaking shit and like putting it to the tune of one of my songs. On Instagram, hold on, wait, let me pull my Instagram up. I forget my username all the time. My Instagram is Lil Watermark 20, but without the A in Mark. So Lil Water MRK 20. That's my name. Twitter is just Lil Watermark. It's the name. Handle is something else. I forget it. Fuck. Big projects. Well, I'm doing a big show this November, December. Steakfry Memorial Show 2. I think we're calling it Steakfest. Steakfest 24. Pull up,
Awesome.
Pull up, nut up or shut up. Pull up or be gay. And I'm probably working on like more stuff. I think I might come out with a self-titled EP or something like that soon enough. Get a bunch of new songs out. A lot of new songs coming out soon. Planning on some big things, maybe some collab songs with bigger artists. Punched above my weight. Live stuff, a lot of live stuff. Look forward to live stuff. I like playing shows. It's fun doing that. Come see me.
Do you got any live shows in the works besides the Steakfest?
I think I'm playing a show with Basarian in Virginia in August, sometime in August, I believe.
Virginia sells.
Yeah, Virginia sells. I don't know too much about it. I just know it's probably happening. It might be me, Bastarian, perhaps Greens on Toast, live in person in Virginia.
And you'll post more about that as it gets
I will
close.
100% do that. I want people to come to my shows. I'm not going to go to a show and not post about it. T-shirts also. I might work on T-shirts, getting T-shirts in the work.
Nice.
I know I've had like one dude who has consistently messaged me asking me to do T-shirts, and I just have been putting it off because I'm a lazy fuck. That's about it. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. I hope this whole podcast thing does really well for you.
Hey, yeah, thanks, man. We hope it does well too. We always appreciate you actually reached out to be on here, which is really cool. I think it's indicative that people are enjoying the podcast, and hopefully we'll get more big names like yourself on here in the future, because you especially were a great guy to have on here, since you don't do a whole lot of public talking about anything that much. So
yeah. I like to be mysterious. I like my aura. I like my aura points high.
I was gonna say, we didn't know a whole lot about you going into this, so this has been a very enlightening interview. I think I think a lot of people will be happy to hear this.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, thanks for coming on, man, and for taking the time out of your day. We hope that Steakfest does awesome. I love Steakfry, so that's a great.
If you wanna fly out, get your tickets now. They're probably cheaper now. If you want to fly out, you can crash in my hotel room. Totally. I'll let Ofeg sleep in my bathroom. He can film the whole thing. Ask questions to everyone. Great content.
Awesome. I might take you up on that. Who knows?
Ofeg's IRL.
Ofeg's gets the tub. I get the toilet.
True. Exactly.
But yeah, we're gonna be looking forward to that regardless. And yeah, good luck to you on your future projects, man. Again, thank you so much for coming on, dude.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, good talking to you.
Absolutely.
See ya.
Okay, well, that was a very enlightening interview, I think. I mean, the guy doesn't really have any socials, as I said there at the end, so
yeah,
I think it was good that we were able to get this done with him.
For sure.
You've already talked with him, though, before, like one-on-one, haven't you?
Yeah, well, not one-on-one, but I talked with him and Maniac and Neat Server, and I was just like, yeah, he'd be great for an interview.
Yeah. No, totally. I'm glad that he came on. He, like I said, he actually reached out to me to get on here. So, which is what I want this show to be. I don't want to have to keep asking people.
Well, I think I reached out to him and then I told him to DM you.
Oh, okay, perfect. Well,
Yeah,
cool.
so
Still,
technically,
I think
no. Okay.
at least somebody else besides me is doing the legwork now.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think this is the first place that the second Steakfry Memorial Show has been announced, because I had no idea about that until just now.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, that sounds really cool.
Have you heard?
I've heard nothing until now.
Yeah, hopefully this is the first. Hopefully we're breaking the news, because that'd be awesome.
Seems like it's in the prototype stage.
Well, it seems like they're working on it anyways, but that'll be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know how serious I am about actually going. I just got back from a big trip, to Orlando, so maybe I will again.
Yeah.
I don't know, especially if I buy the plane tickets now, but I guess I'll have to decide that soon.
Yeah, when what is it again?
He said sometime in November, December.
Oh, November. Oh, that's not terrible.
Yeah.
I could probably have like, a few hundred by then.
Yeah. Well, let me know if you're going. Maybe I'll
So who
try and
knows?
go with you.
Yeah.
Maybe we could get on a plane together.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But anyways, I think we're just going to go ahead and wrap it up then. Strep, do you want to go ahead and tell everybody where they can find your stuff and if you have any upcoming projects?
Yeah, I've just been working on like a new album, so that will be up on like SoundCloud and Spotify and all that shit. And
About what time?
I honestly have no idea, because like every time I go to work on it, like I get like 3 more songs and I'm like, fuck. Like this album's getting too long. It's like over 12 songs now that I want to put on there. And like
Sweet.
my last 2, I was like, yeah, 7 or 8 is fine, and then I do a new one. But this one just keeps getting postponed because where I live, it's so hot. So like it's hard to record vocals because I get too hot and I have to come inside because I do it in my car.
That's so funny to me. You have an AC function, right?
No, but I don't want to turn the car on while I'm doing it because I'm sitting there so long. So like I'm just sitting in there like sweating my ass off like the whole time, and then I come out and I can't see because like sweat's going into my eyes, and it's
brutal.
It's a big deal. I usually only get 1 song done at a time, but it's been cooling off. So like I might get like 4 done tonight. Who knows?
Sweet.
But yeah. Just follow me, Strepsiades everywhere. Like. It's nice because Strepsiades isn't really a super taken name.
Yeah. You've been using Twitter also recently, right?
Yeah, I've become more sucked into my just saying random shit, so we'll see how that goes for me.
Cool.
But yeah.
And you guys can follow me on SoundCloud. I make parody songs and stuff. I just released a new EP on the 4th of July, so go listen to that. Follow me on Twitter at ofigs, I think 6966. I didn't choose the numbers, it was randomly generated, which funny numbers to randomly generate. But yeah, follow me there. Follow me on YouTube. I'm also a YouTuber, so you can look over there at ofigs, obviously. And I think that about does it. Go ahead and follow the show here. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Like this video if you like the interview. Follow us on Twitter at E-CEL Network. And go ahead and check the BitChute channel. Maybe there's some clips that made it from this interview onto there, so you can check that out.
And I guess just like stay tuned because we're always coming out with great new stuff.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be making an announcement video for the release of the comp album for the competition on July 24th. So we will announce when that is made public for you guys to go vote on. Until then, please keep submitting songs to us. And I hope that the $500 is well earned. So let's get some more submissions, please. So, guys, I guess that's it.